Looney says good morning. Important program note. Tomorrow, of all places, I'm going into the city to be part of a very large wellness uh, fair done by one of those giant corporations that has their office right next to Giant Stadium. So anyway, I got to leave tomorrow like at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I'm there all day doing what sounds like a lot of fun, wellness, meditation, yoga for corporate people sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm sad that I'll miss you tomorrow, but of course we'll be back on Thursday. So wish me luck. And apparently there's a parking space over there for me. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm glad everybody's in today so they can hear that message. Let's see. Do you guys remember The Secret? It's kind of a fad, new agey kind of thing. And I don't mean to make fun of new age spirituality. If a I think everybody gets an understanding of their own understanding, including their spiritual take on things. But there seems to be a bit of a knock on new age spirituality. People tend to make fun of it. Crystals and rainbows and little shops in Marin and psychics and The Secret, and so it's this brand of spirituality that seems to cut through all the nasty, difficult psychological, emotional, and karmic healing and just cut right to the rainbows and the unicorn and the bliss. And man, if you can do that, if you can just avoid the life lessons and the character defects and cut right to the chase of the bliss, more power to you. But most of us, it's a little bit more challenging than just putting a pyramid over my head. Although I did try that. Don't tell anybody. It's our little secret. But anyway, the law of attraction. The law of attraction. Now, I am a firm believer in the law of attraction, but it's not a trite, banal, simplistic little thing that somebody can suddenly just flip the switch of the law of attraction without doing the deep change of their consciousness that actually puts them in a position to attract something better. So the law of attraction, like attracts like, that as we are in our heart, so shall we be, is tied for first among spiritual principles. But there has to be a true, valid, authentic, genuine change in our consciousness. Otherwise, we're just going to keep attracting the same thing over and over again. And any of us who've ever fought with a bad habit or a bad compulsion or an addiction or anything like that, we know that simply giving lip service to what we would like to attract without doing the hard and disciplined work of changing our consciousness through prayer, meditation, and service, it's a pipe dream. But the law of attraction is true. And it's a wonderful principle, but I'd like to talk about a very rarely mentioned, the flip side of that coin. In fact, I don't think it's ever been mentioned in human history. Maybe it has, but here's an important law, and we're discussing it this week, as we talk about addition by division, this split that develops between us and other things that pushes us to grow. And the law I'd like to talk about today, obviously very briefly now, because Looney's getting restless, is the law of repulsion. The law of repulsion. The law of attraction. I really like that. So I'm going to draw that into my life. But there's also the law of repulsion. And this is an important one, I think. And it's when we look out in the world and isn't it pretty much human nature? We look out, we see what we don't like. So we humans started, 2 million years ago in Africa. There was that tribe over there. We didn't like them so much, so we moved over there. And as I discussed yesterday, humans kept being repelled by other humans and moving here and there and over to the Middle East and over into China and then into North America. And then, boy, what a story we humans are in our wars and our divisions and our repulsion and the Mayflower comes over because we don't like, we want our religious freedom. And this continues on and on. The law of repulsion. And it's when we notice something in our reality that we don't like. Is there anything in your reality that you don't like right now? Is there anything going on in the world that you don't like right now? Well, we might call this the thorn in our side. And the thorn in our side makes us move. Now, for many centuries of human history, that meant moving physically in terms of proximity. Well, screw you, I'm out of here. There's a funny saying in the recovery movement. It says, all you need to start your own meeting is a resentment and a coffee pot. It's the law of repulsion. You go somewhere else and you start something. Now, this is true in terms of proximity, where we go and what we do, but it's also true in terms of our preferences, our desires, our career, our relationships, even our inner world. We may have had a particular way of thinking about things, and then we suddenly realize, I don't like that anymore. One of the greatest spiritual principles is when you know what you don't like, it clarifies what you do like. So this week, we're going to look at the law of repulsion. And as you look out into the world, or as you look into your inner world and you see something you don't like, we're going to begin to recognize that not as a curse, but as a great blessing that's impelling, that's impeding, that's compelling us to grow and to create perhaps new physical space, go from here over to there. If you ever needed to get a new job, if you ever been done with a relationship and had to go someplace else, but it could be on the inside, a particular way of looking, or maybe we don't like the way we think about ourselves. There's a gulf between who we think we are and who we really are. And the law of repulsion, this beautiful law of repulsion, makes us realize that it's time to come up higher. And I've taken plenty of your time today. So enjoy the law of repulsion while you're enjoying the law of attraction. Looney says, have a beautiful day. I'll miss you tomorrow. Wish me luck in the city with corporate yoga, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care, everybody.